In the Pits is partnered with 71 Designs, owned and operated by veteran Wade Martin, and partnered with fellow Texas brand Compete. 71 Designs can take your ideas for soft goods, merchandise, and casual wear and make them a reality. Message 71 Designs on Facebook or Instagram to get started today. In the Pits is partnered with Podrunners Union. Follow Podrunners Union on Instagram to find strength in union and celebrate our sports pit crew. Send in photos to represent your union local and be featured. Stealing pods for undeserving teams. It's a living. In the Pits is partnered with YI Paintball. Paintball, there's nothing like it. On the field or off, it's not just a sport, it's a community. The people, our people, come from all over with vastly different lives during the week. But come time for paintball, we're one community with a lot of stories about why. Follow YI Paintball on Instagram and meet the members of the paintball community. Learn about how they started, what their journey has been, and their ultimate why. Why paintball? What's your why? In the Pits is partnered with Hydra. Designed by players for players, you can outfit yourself in Hydra gear from head to toe. Have confidence that when you make a purchase from Hydra, you are purchasing a well-tested and well-thought-out product, trusted by several top teams, including first-place semi-pro team PaintballFit.com. I personally recommend their Hydra Black knee pads. Purchases over $100 receive free shipping. Head to hydra.fit to browse their selection and discover the Hydra mentality. In the Pits is partnered with XTPL Events. The Extreme Tournament Paintball League is a series put on by the Lukow family of Paintball Fit fame that gives the opportunity for players to learn and grow together as a team. 3-man, Challengers and Champions X-Ball, Draft Mech X-Ball, and even Youth 3v3. There's something for everyone at XTPL. Not to mention prize tosses, raffles, and the infamous paintball munching contest. Events happen throughout the year, and the prizes never disappoint. Sign up for an XTPL event today on PB Leagues. In the Pits is partnered with BEM Wraps. Behind every mask is a unique and creative player. Tap into it when you order your next custom headpiece. Their Build-A-Band lets you communicate with them one-on-one to make your order just the way you want, all the way down to the color of the stitch. Check out their Instagram at BEMWraps for drops and build videos of them working on orders. They offer very competitive pricing, so reach out today to get started on your own one-of-a-kind headpiece. In the Pits is partnered with Mariachi Aguilas de Oro. Based in Austin and servicing the surrounding areas, these Golden Eagles will bring life to any event you are having, from birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, corporate events, or even a simple performance to enjoy. Guillermo Padilla, one of their trumpet players, is also a member of the Texas paintball scene. Visit them on Facebook and Instagram to check out some of their past performances, or give them a call to book them for your event today. In the Pits is partnered with Skull Monkeys Paintball. Equip, engage, excel. In the Pits is partnered with Compete. Compete is a Texas-based brand by Jell Stewart of professional team AC Diesel that provides custom jerseys, pants, headbands, straps, tech shirts, and any other soft goods to help individuals and teams compete at the highest level. Support Texas Paintball and message Compete on Facebook or Instagram and mention In the Pits Podcast for 10% off your entire order. In the Pits is partnered with Get Dat Shot. Get Dat Shot now offers first-in-line photo and video editing, 20% off Get Dat Shot merch, and 20% off prints to all teams that wear the Get Dat Shot logo on their jersey. Message GetDat_shot on Facebook or Instagram to become a Get Dat Shot program team. In the Pits is partnered with Paintball Kumite. Paintball Kumite is a program designed by Colt Roberts of professional team San Antonio X Factor to take paintball players of all ages, experience levels, and skill groups and mold them into champions. The program breaks the game down into small, easy-to-learn sessions designed to help you master the fundamentals so that you can elevate your game. Newcomers to the program get a free 1-hour introductory class when mentioning In the Pits. To sign up for a class, message at Paintball Kumite on Instagram. Welcome, everyone, to episode 86 of In the Pits Paintball Podcast. This podcast is focused on everything that has to do with the paintball scene here in Texas, from professional players and teams to new divisional programs, local tournament series, field owners, Texas-based brands, even photographers and videographers. Every week, we'll have a short and sweet episode with a new topic and a new special guest. I'm Christian Dallas Smith. I'm a player for the Texas Titans. In this episode, we're going in the pits with Ryan Hoskinson, new player for San Antonio X Factor. Ryan, how are you doing this evening?
Good, man. Happy to be on here.
Well,
Happy to join the Texas scene a little bit.
oh yeah. Well, come to join the winning state because Texas is definitely where it's been at the last couple of years.
Yeah, I've been noticing that. Yeah, Florida. We're not too far behind though. We got a good little local series going with the MVPS.
For sure. Yeah, Florida is definitely a state to be respected. But I mean, when you've got four of the last four teams from semi-pro making the jump to pro, then you know there's something special going on here.
I agree. I agree with that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, let's get started. So this first question is brought to us by XTPL Events. So for those listening that maybe don't know so much about you, how long have you been involved in the tournament paintball scene?
Well, I'm 30 now, so in 2005, that's when I got my first paintball gun, and I put together a group of my buddies that I went to high school, or sorry, I went to middle school with at the time, and we went to our local field, and we were just doing that every weekend. And then we heard about World Cup having a young guns division, so that was 2006 when I played my first tournament, which happened to be World Cup, which is pretty epic. You know, having that in the backyard of Florida. I live in Tampa, so that was just a little hour drive to Orlando, hour and a half, and chaperoned by all of our parents. And yeah, we went out to Orlando and got our butts kicked. I think I found out TJ Danner, we're the same age, and he played in that same tournament. I forgot what team he was on, but I think we played each other, and they did pretty well in that tournament. We did not, but the bug was bit after I saw the World Cup and all that, and man, it was pretty special to just be welcomed into the paintball tournament scene that way. And then I played locally quite a bit from that point on, like 2007, 2008, and then I had to focus on playing baseball. My dad and I kind of had to make a decision that paintball was, not my main sport at the time. So I was getting ready to play high school baseball. So yeah, I took a break from 2008 to 2018, and then got back into it.
And first event in is a World Cup event. That is and that's a lot of expectation to live up to after that one.
And then they used to do it at Disney at the Wide World of Sports. So that venue was pretty special, just like the way they kind of had it on really nice grass, and just kind of felt I had played baseball tournaments at that same facility quite a bit. So that was pretty cool just to like get to do paintball at the same place. And I just remember the walk from the parking lot was like almost like worthy of renting a golf cart. It was pretty serious. But yeah, and it was a lot of fun. And then I found another program out of the area called Tampa United, and the team I played for was called Florida Fusion, and United wanted to merge their older guys with us as like a camp. So their team became Infusion, and my team was still Fusion, Florida Fusion, and we played under that umbrella. This guy named Steve Norris and Chai Reynolds were the just the guys running the show. You know, kind of same thing we've done with the Killers and Shenanigans. You know, kind of just building like a nice little farm system of just getting people into the sport and just teaching them how to get organized and go to tournaments and stuff. So that was a great time, and got to meet quite a few guys in the scene at CSP. So that was, I mean, it was the Mecca then, and still now. Now it's called Legacy Sports Park. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that place has been the breeding ground in Florida for the top talent in the state.
It's cool to hear that mentality of like actually making a program that players kind of work their way up through, instead of you just seeing the same players building new teams every single year. They keep splitting up, going to different places, and something that we've also seen here in Texas is just a lot more programs that are staying around for a lot longer. It seems that it's helped the area's like talent level just shoot up over the years.
Yeah, much respect to Mark Franz and doing the Austin Notorious stuff. That's been cool to, when I played in Europe with him, I got to kind of pick his brain a little bit about, why he does it. And it's pretty, takes a lot of back end work. He's running through group chats and stuff, making sure the D5 guys got paint, making sure the D4 guys got paint, making sure the D3 guys got enough guys at the field, making sure the D2 guys got their entry paid for the next event. And it's a lot of moving parts, but when you got the right guys kind of in the program, running the teams, you kind of delegate the captains, and it's good. A lot of fun knowing that you got at least 10 people at the field every weekend. So, and then just go from there, just becomes contagious.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what are some of the teams that you've played for over the years?
So yeah, when I was younger, that was at Florida Fusion and then Tampa Infusion. Infusion Red was the name of it. And then I took my break, and then in 2018, I started playing again, just at a local field, not at CFP or Legacy. It was just a field like 10 minutes from my house called South Tampa Paintball. And a random buddy just invited me to go play one weekend, and I went and played. And then I had a memory of who I played with back on Infusion, this kid named Jordan Walsh. And he never stopped playing, actually, up until then. And then I hit him up out of the blue. I was like, hey, buddy, I'm thinking about playing paintball again. Do you want to come out with me? And we played for a weekend, and I bought his paint. And then I was like, hey, is CFP still a thing? Like, is there still a tournament paintball and stuff? And I went out there, and I could tell that it was all teams out there. So I recognized that, like, you can't just go there solo and hope to jump in the mix with a team. I get it. So I kept showing up there every weekend that whole summer. I was going on Saturdays a lot too. It was only about 6 of us. It was me, Chris Horn, Davey Flakoff, Donnie Hill, Chad Gonzalez, and Jordan was coming as well. And we were just playing on Saturdays, just like 2 or 3 or 4, 5 or 6 of us just playing against each other, doing 1-on-1s, 2-on-2s, and they were just kind of teaching me the grind about like the individual stuff. And I just kept kind of paying attention to who was there on Sundays. I saw the Jits were a team. They were probably the best team that wasn't damaged at the field at that time. There's a program called SRP was out there, Southern Rage Paintball, and then the Killers guys were there, but I couldn't really tell who they were because they never really were wearing all the same jerseys. I just thought they were just buddies. So I was there on a Sunday, just watching them get ready for a tournament, and this was in August. So probably, like I said, I was going out there every day or every weekend from like March, April-ish to August, and August was like kind of getting ready for Chicago, I think, as a lot of the teams were out there. And the Killers needed a guy at the end of the day, and their coach at the time was this guy named Dan Moore, he's on the Tampa Bay Damage staff right now. He just saw me sitting there, and I'd been, kind of just drilling, throughout the day by myself and just watching as whenever I could. And then he's like, hey, we need a body. So I was like, yeah, I'll go. And they needed a guy to play Snake, so I ran Snake off break. It was against SRP. I'll never forget. There was a guy named Ricky Smith on the team at the time who was on the Kings, or he was on the Kings. And I just went to Snake off break, beat him there, and then just kind of stayed on the wire and shot him when he came out. I think I went up the field and got another kill or so. And then Dan Moore was like, hey, man, that was pretty good. I was like, yeah. I mean, I kind of know what I'm doing. I used to play. And they were just like, yeah, well, let me get your Facebook or whatever, and I'll hit you up, and maybe you can come out next weekend. And I took that as my opportunity of just the door being kind of opened. And I got an opportunity as well from SRP at the time because the coach of that team saw me do that to their team. And they had more of like a program that was like D5, D4, D3, D2, and then they had a D1 team. Or no, it was D5, D4, and then just D1. So the Killers at the time were D3. I didn't know any of this at all. But Jordan, I asked him, I was like, hey, the Killers guys asked me to go out there and play with them again, and then so did SRP. And Jordan was like, well, the Killers guys are probably a little more your style, just like off the field. And I was like, okay, I'll just do that. And I played with them next weekend, and the captain of the team, Smitty, was there. and he kind of vetted me, and apparently nobody wanted to play him one-on-one anymore at the end of the day. So I just went out there and played him like 30 times, and he beat me probably 29 times. And he just was like, "Well, hey, if you keep playing me, you'll figure it out." And I just was like, "Yeah, I'll keep playing you. I think you're pretty good, and I'll just keep running at you," because he just played like super methodical, and I just was running like he said, he'd never really seen anyone kind of play like me, which was just like going like every time he head checked me, I was in a new bunker. So I just kept just showing up. That was it, man, and played with the Killers from 2018 till now. And yeah, we rose up the ranks from D3 to D2 to D1. We were the goal was to go pro as a group, and I don't really have a exact answer on why we weren't going to go pro last year, other than Fit won every event. We showed up, we played hard, we prepared. Got to play Tampa Bay Damage before every week, before every event. So we were ready for every event. Just comes to being clutch on Sunday. We go 4-0 in prelims and all that. So it was a good time with the Killers. But then Ryan, Brand, and I kind of touched base a little bit in the off season, and he gave me an opportunity to come out. And it's one of those teams that if they call, you got to kind of answer that call.
For sure, there's not many opportunities that are given, especially for a top team like San Antonio X Factor. But yeah, I mean, the Killers were definitely a very solid team in semi-pro this past year. But I mean, you can't really say anything else other than Paintball Fit, and you don't really have to say anything else. And Blast Camp too. Yeah, both of them making every single finals. Like it's weird to think that the winner of this this upcoming Vegas event in semi-pro would not have even touched the finals field in over a year. And probably even longer than that if you think back to like World Cup of 21 was Fit and Notorious in the finals. The event before that was Chicago, and I think it was Notorious and Blast Camp in the finals. So you have to go back a year and a half until you potentially find another team that's even stepped foot on the finals field in semi-pro.
Yeah, I think it was Colorado Blitz.
Yes.
Was Philly.
And
they got 5-0.
Just crazy to think that it's been that long, and Fit, Notorious, Blast Camp have just had such a control over the division the last couple of years.
Yes, it was crazy how Notorious stole that from him too.
For sure.
And yeah. I mean, we beat Fit in that minor at Texas that year. So they got fourth and we got third in the consolation match, and I'm sure those points added up.
Yep.
So just funny how it all matters, But yeah, Killers probably would have been the favorite this year, in my opinion. Between us and newbies, and then it stayed nasty. We just lost their captain. So that might have hurt them, and then Leverage would be good. They got Caputo back. So my predictions, yeah, this year I think it'll be Leverage. Yeah, that's my prediction.
Yeah, well, it's semi-pro is going to be a fun division to watch this year. Just all new faces. Don't know what to expect really.
Yeah, I think they got like 30 teams signed up for semi-pro for Vegas.
Oh, wow.
I know it always cuts. I mean, there's always just over-ambitious teams. I mean, I've already kind of skimmed through some of the teams, and there's a lot of D3, D4, half-ass D2 teams signing up. So, I mean, I don't know. I've always suggested that there should be a point minimum to sign up for just semi-pro. Like, if your guys don't have if you can't add up enough APPA points to qualify as at least a D2 team, you shouldn't be signing up for semi-pro because it just fucks up the seeding. I mean, it's rare that a team signs up for semi-pro without much experience. I mean, Smoke did really well at Cup. They surprised us. We had to beat them in overtime. So they actually earned my respect. I looked at their rankings; they were mostly like D3 and D2.
Right. I mean,
but there's a lot of teams that just don't belong in semi-pro.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, with semi-pro having the free webcast now, it would definitely benefit the league to have a better product on the field. But at the same time, I mean, if players want to learn the hard way, then I guess there's nothing holding them back.
Yeah, I mean, winning is winning. So if you can go win at any division, I mean, that's a better learning curve in my opinion than just getting blown off the field in 30 seconds. I mean, I remember at least 20 points last year. Actually, in the past 2 years of semi-pro, there's times where we played teams where I didn't even stop at a bunker.
Man, well,
So it's just like
I
yeah.
I don't remember. Well, actually, no. I can think of a few teams that fit that bill, but hopefully, semi-pro is going to be a little bit more interesting to watch this year.
Yeah, I definitely will still be tuned into the scene. I mean, I loved it. You know, I definitely watched every raw match of any semi-pro team on YouTube. I know it's kind of a bad habit to watch a lot of semi-pro ball when you're a pro player, but I still have just a natural love for just watching watching guys grind and you know, make their way up the ladder. And I like keeping an eye on who's who.
For sure. I mean, there's also a few teams that are bumping up from Division 2 that are, teams like Shut Up or Trying, New York Wrecking Crew. I think did I hear that the Golden Misfits Vegas team was going to bump up as well, or?
No, they were D1. They played D1 at that's who knocked us out of Cup. You know, they played D1 in Chicago and got like 5th, I think, and then they played D1 in Cup and they beat us in overtime on Saturday. But no, their owner has been going through some off the field stuff, some health problems with his wife, so he wants to be there for her.
Gotcha.
So he he just couldn't focus on the team right now. So a lot of those kids were at the aftershock tryouts.
Okay.
So I don't know what they're gonna do, but
gotcha. Well, we will definitely be keeping tabs on that. So this next question is brought to us by Skull Monkeys Paintball. So what was it that got you into paintball to begin with?
Obviously a birthday party. That was like the first smell of it, and I think I happened to catch it on ESPN, and then I happened to see. So they used to do an event called NPPL Tampa. So that was at our local football stadium parking lot. So I was able to kind of just go see it firsthand before I even went and played it like at a high level or with a nice gun. Like I remember, I didn't even have an eye on or anything yet. When I went and watched that and like first pro tournament, I didn't even know what was going on. I just saw that there was a paintball tournament going on at the local football stadium, and my mom let me go. And I remember by the end of the weekend, I went home with like a shopping cart full of leftover paint from the pits, and most of it was like that Diana paint.
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of got put in my face just from that moment. I had probably some more birthday parties I went to, and then after going to a national event in my backyard, I pretty much became a nerd, and I started playing Greg Hastings quite a bit. Played that as much as I played like Call of Duty or any of those games back then, and I had a mod controller, so I was able to, get my gun automatic on that, and kind of just learn a lot of paintball rhythm playing, being good at that game. And I started going to a Friday night get together at this field called Gladiator. It was an indoor field, and they had a really nice pro shop, and just kind of just kept talking to people at the local fields, and went on PB Nation, bought some gears on there, and just kept following. I became a nerd. That's it. And then I just kept playing, and was kind of bummed out when I had to stop playing, but my dad was paying for everything at the time, so kind of had to listen to the boss.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
what it was. So
it's crazy how hard the bug bites whenever you get bit for the first time.
Yeah, I just I guess it was on ESPN, so that was enough for me. I was like, this is legit.
Yep.
And I guess I timed paintball my out kind of well. I heard. I mean, I just remember the recession kind of put a dagger in a lot of the local scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, where we are now definitely feels like paintball's on the upward trend with all like how much it's grown locally, nationally. We're seeing production values getting better and better every year from Go Sports, and more teams are getting more and more competitive. It seems the games are intense from the top down. Every single division is a grind to get to the top.
Yeah, I mean the local series are there, they're available. So I advise everyone to go keep playing those, keep showing up to awesome fields like Paintball Fit, X Factor Field, X Factor Park, Legacy, Tiki's Paintball. We're blessed right now in Florida and Texas for sure. So there's no reason not to grind right now, unless you got family stuff and things that are priority. Those are pretty much the only weekends I take off for very important things. I finally have to miss my first wedding. My buddy's getting married same weekend at Vegas,
Oh man.
so kind of ran into my first. I've been pretty lucky. I've made every wedding I've been invited to in the past 4 or 5 years, except one, I had one that I missed right when I got on the Killers. So same thing. Like I joined a new team, and I didn't want to like miss my first day at work. Same thing with X Factor. So
I hear that. I remember actually listening to a recent episode of Ryan Moffat's show From the Sideline. I think they were the Sacramento DMG players that were on that team. They one of the guys that on the podcast, he had his whole wedding planned out, and then they dropped the dates, and his wedding's on Vegas. And unfortunately, the rest of the team said, unfortunately for him, the rest of the team voted, and they said, "Hey, we're going to the event. Sorry, buddy." But man, it's definitely a lifestyle change if you're trying to become a pro athlete.
yeah, no, yeah, it's the real deal, and there's a lot of money invested in getting a high level team organized. So it's just that's what it's about. You got to respect that there's a lot of behind the scenes work going on to make things happen. So people, when you commit, you should know that the people that have been committed to the team being organized expect you to match that.
For sure. Yep. So this next question is brought to us by Podrunners Union, which I actually had the wrong ad video playing before the show started. So just going to mention it here that there's new merchandise, there's new tech tees, and also Fiesta medals. If you head to podrunnersunion.com, let me make sure I got the right website there and it's not .org. But yeah, head there and check out the new Podrunners Union merchandise. It's like it is .org. I'm glad I checked that. So yeah, head to podrunnersunion.org, check out the new tech tees, check out the new Fiesta medals. So Ryan, what are some things that you've noticed that have changed within the tournament scene, either for better or for worse, since you first started?
I definitely enjoy that there's no coaching anymore. The BPS has gone down, and it seems like there's twice as many bunkers. So I think all those are I don't know. I think the no coaching is better. I think the BPS is better. I like that. I know the sound of it was cool with the 15 balls a second, but I think 10 balls a second allows you to at least time the gaps a little bit on like that gunfight rhythm a little bit better. And I understand why there's a lot of bunkers on the field. Seems like they're trying to curate, more people surviving the break and more paint getting shot. So I get it. But other than that, it seems like paintball is organized. The stream, like Go Sports, is way more high def than PB Access and all that stuff. 1-for-1 TV and all that stuff. They were doing great stuff for sure, but Go Sports is legit. Like it's a legit stream. Anyone that tunes in from like out of paintball should have an idea of what's going on by the end of a match. After one match, it definitely takes a little bit to understand, because you got Rich Telford being funny, so all the paintballers can laugh, and then Maddie always politically correct. Maddie knows there's a new paintball fan watching every match, so I get it.
Yeah, it is good to see that Go Sports is just making themselves better and better. Like even if it's just piece by piece. Would be interesting to and also like the stuff they debuted at World Cup with the ability to draw on the screen and show the lanes and things like that. That was huge.
That was the upgrade. That was crucial. So I am not sure which. I've met most of the Go Sports guys. I'm not sure who's doing that, but whoever is doing that, and while it's live, I mean, hats off. That's pretty epic because I've already had when I've been watching matches over here at my house. Whenever anyone comes over, that's just a non-paintball guy. They always sit and watch with me, and they love it. But they definitely admitted that they're like, "Whoa, wow, that's awesome." They get it a little bit more. I think the magic will be once we get the super super high def cameras and the right angles to watch the gunfight.
Mhm. Yep. Well, bit by bit, but once we're we're getting closer, and yeah, it is also good to see that like kind of as the technology gets better, especially for cameras, like you're seeing more and more media guys take the field and make some really really cool content.
Yeah, I mean they're getting the content uploaded by midday and end of the day, so it's like, what more can you ask for out of a rogue media group of guys that just love the sport just like we do, and they're willing to invest in high level equipment, willing to let that equipment get shot, willing for them to get shot. I mean, the paintball media world right now is, I mean, carrying us on their shoulders. It's pretty epic because like the Instagram content is what shows everyone that's not a paintballer what's going on.
For sure. So this next question, and another one that I had the wrong ad video playing before, so I'm going to read everything here. So our newest sponsor is BioWorks. They will be doing a mobile IV hydration services at NXL Vegas. So they do house calls as well. So give them a call or text at 972-948-8207 to book a mobile IV service at the upcoming NXL Vegas event. So according to your profile on PB Leagues, you started when you were like 12 years old and you played for a couple of years. You had your 11-year break before diving right back in. So what were the biggest changes that you had to adjust to when you first got back in?
Learning everything again. I mean, I had that time I played with my buddy at the random field. I surprised myself, I think, a lot, just like my mechanics. I still had like the ability to kind of shoot and reload. So that was pretty funny. And then my snap shot was still like too long. Like I was like snapping out with my whole body. So I remember just like I was still playing, like I still play like quite a bit of like soccer and stuff and play like a bunch of pickup sports. So conditioning wise, I still had the upper hand on most paintball guys that just play paintball once a week. So I had good conditioning already, but I mean, there's no way to prepare your body to run snake off break and crawl to the other side of the field. So I had to probably do that 100 times at least before I wasn't sore after a weekend of playing for like 3 days. So that position itself, just running snake off break and crawling and not putting your pack too high in the air. You learn that mistake a few times. You think you're crawling super fast, and all that, and then your pack just gets clipped, or you get to the other side of the field and there's already three guns pointing at you because you're kicking bunkers and stuff along the way. So just had to get shot a bunch. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, you can go to the clinics and stuff, and they'll teach you tricks and tips and all that, and ways to kind of reset your body mechanics. And the mirror is your best friend. Find a mirror; it'll tell you what's showing before you pop out. Find the right gun setup. Get the tank the right size tank and stuff. And I had to just kind of pay attention to. Luckily, I had Tampa Bay Damage there. I had my buddies on the Killers to kind of pay attention to because they were all really good and they hadn't stopped playing since they started playing. So just being around guys that know what they're doing, and girls, there weren't any girls at the field at that time, but nowadays, I mean, there's some badass girls at our field. So I'd say just pay attention to people that look like kind of your body style, and pay attention to Go Sport. And I needed to just keep just learning, and I still I still am learning. Honestly, I'm still in my head. I'm still slow. I'm still a little sloppy. I still like. I watch a lot of my footage because I had a cameraman, my buddy named AJ Sostakowski. AJ, I had him film all of our practices. Once we got to D2, and film our events and stuff. So if you can invest in a buddy to film you guys practice, and you got footage, and watch during the week, that helps so much. I mean, it just because the adrenaline's pumping when we're playing, so it's really hard to go back and be like, what, how did I get shot there? I thought I was playing tight.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. I know a lot of players that I've talked to that have been playing since the early 2000s. One thing that they like to say is that everything changes, but also nothing changes. Like the even though the equipment has definitely gone leaps and bounds since 2005, 2006. But other than that, I mean, the game is still the game.
I mean, look at Colt Roberts, baby, still doing it. Billy, still doing it. It's the game's the game. I go play 10-man. I go play with like Aftershock, and I play with Todd Adamson and Billy Saransky, and these guys. They've been doing it since the early '90s, and it's like, yeah, they're not as slick as they once were, but their timing's still dialed in. They can still read paint. It's just 300 feet per second, 300 feet per second, and angles are angles. It's just you got to just be able to read paint, and the more better people shoot at you, it's just it will unfold. I mean, unless you just, I don't like getting shot, so it pisses me off when I get shot, but I know that I'm learning, and I take a heavy, a heavy weight, on my shoulder to go figure out why I got shot, why I got outsmarted, and it's just the game is still changing a little bit. I'd say with the bounce shots becoming just very dialed in. That's why with Todd coaching us last year, he was kind of adjusting to our comments on that when we'd be making game plans and going to certain bunkers. He kind of, was bummed out a bunch about, right, hey, we can't really go here because they're just shooting the bounce, and it's not, it's just not really effective for us to go here when we could go this way or go that way. And we can shoot the bounce back and all that, but he'd rather us just get to this side of the field in 30 seconds and put in their neck.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah, the bounce shots seem like that's probably like the most updated version of just playing a layout. Luckily, I like the one weekend layout because I mean, you can still go find all the bounce shots in one weekend, but 2 weekends, like, you should know every bounce shot easy.
Definitely. Yeah. And we got a couple people in the chat giving you some love. Let's see. Void is vast and is here. Let's see. Someone named Wiley F. Is
Wiley.
in the chat.
Yeah, Wiley's dope. He's from out in Cali.
Oh, and then one of my teammates, Lane Myers, in the chat saying dog. So you got another fan here in Texas.
Yeah, man, Texas is dope. I'll be out there. I had to get my boy Cyrus. He just got picked up by Paintball Fit. It was kind of funny just us being out there together, just because we were both every weekend guys at Legacy. So it's like, hey man, we're just in another net, just somewhere else. That's it. That's all I think about it. And I'll play paintball anywhere in the world. All it is walking into a net.
All it is. All right. So this next question is brought to us by BEMRAPS. So your first year back in, you competed locally in Florida in D4, but that same year you also competed in the NXL in Division 2. So playing both Division 2 nationally and Division 4 locally, what were the biggest differences between the two that you noticed?
Just the pace of the thinking. People were just making moves quicker. So yeah, my rank when I played Cup D3 2018 with Killers, I was still like D5. So my buddy who ended up being on the Killers, Cody Clarkson, was running a team called Shenanigans, and they were D5, D4, and they were playing all the MVPSs. And the Killers were just like, hey man, like if you want to earn some playing time in D2, you should probably go play some D4 or at least, or go play, go play tournaments. So yeah, I played as many as I could. I've actually played a D5 5-man. My first tournament where I played every point was the MVPS in 2019, and I was a D5 5-man. And yeah, I kicked ass. We made it to the finals. The tournament ran pretty late, so they had to pull up the cars for the lights for the finals. And then, believe it or not, one of my buddies on the Killers was reffing that on the finals field, and it's 5-man, so you got to kind of make it count. So I went to their side of the 50 off break. Nobody saw me, and yeah, my boy Cody Lembo bird dogged me and came in and checked me for no reason, just because his head ref was jumping on him to go check me, even though I made the move super clean, unseen. And so he comes in and checks me. I'm clean, obviously, and then I get bunkered, probably from both sides of the bunker. And I was like, well, that was lame. And then so I think we lost the next. I think we won the first point, lost second point because of that, and then lost third point. And then yeah, so I got second in my first tournament back, and I was like, this is tight, and just kept playing as many of those events with shenanigans as I could. Went to D2 Texas with Killers. Played a couple points, like 3 or 4 points at that event. We didn't do well. Kept playing all the MVPSs that year. Then I went to Chicago. We were kind of light on bodies with Killers, so I kind of found my my rhythm in that event because we were light, and I played really well. We made Sunday. First match on Sunday, we played this team called the Scum Dogs, and it was like the final score was like 10-6.
Jeez.
First match on Sunday in the rain. So I played all those points, so I was like, okay, well, there goes, step one, play every point, win a match on Sunday. And then we played Struggle and the Ochos, and they were really good at the time. We went to overtime, and I got the opportunity to go play an overtime point on Sunday. That was pretty epic. I'll never forget that feeling, like just earning the trust of your teammates whenever you join a new team is like, that's like the fire that keeps new guys, I think, gritty. So it's like the moment you go to a new team, you want to be cool. You want to, make sure they like you off the field first. And then for them to trust you with a tournament on the line, that's kind of the final dosage of earning that team spirit. And yeah, so we won that overtime point. I think I got like 2 or 3 kills. So that was like, at that point, I believed in myself. It's not that I didn't believe in myself up until then, but you win a Sunday match in overtime and shoot a couple guys in D2. And then, I was playing D4 that whole year. So I was like, wow, okay, I guess I can hang in D2. And then we played Brawl in the 3rd and 4th match, and they beat us. And then we played Grit in the consolation match, and they beat us again. But yeah, from that point on, I kind of just became almost, every point guy.
Well, so I guess as you were climbing up, like you were playing both D2 and D4, like for anybody out there listening, looking to learn, like, would you say that it's more important for them to just play as much paintball as they can, or like, were you trying to devote a lot of time to more sort of like the individual skills and drills?
At that point, I was doing Saturday for sure for individual skills and drills. Sunday was team paintball. So it took me a while to hone in my adrenaline. Not too long, but it took me, at least a season. So I'd say if you can go play every point on a team when you're just getting started, that's more valuable. And then once you want to elevate to the higher divisions, those opportunities don't come around too often. So you got to pay your dues a little bit to go, to a new team that's a higher division than your rank. So play as much as you can at your rank on another team if possible. But if you want to go national at a high level, because to me, there's not many D3, there's not many like D4 teams that travel to every event. So normally like a D4 local team will play their local national event, and that's it. But if you want to like rise up and play like on a D3 team and you can afford it, and go play like on a D3 or D2 team, then you're like a D2 team probably won't have local events to play. So all they play is national. So the value in reps is always local, but having the ability to go travel and witness the national events and then earn that play time on the national level, it might be a little expensive, just to kind of invest in yourself to get there. So I understand, like, if some people just don't have the time and the money to go to a tournament and not play, I get that, but it's just part of it. You got to pay your dues and earn it. So local reps, and then network. Just continue to network, and if you play at your local field every weekend, that's a good, a real deal field. You'll find out who's a serious, tournament player. Just kind of just gravitate towards them, and just keep asking questions, to the about, what you're doing during the week. Stay on your A game, and just stay as long, and be the last guy to leave the field. I mean, if you want to go watch football, on Sunday and play paintball, you're probably only going to shoot a case. But if you want to become a professional paintball player, you probably need to get 2 cases, maybe 3.
There you go. Yeah, I love it. You gotta earn that time behind the gun, on the field by getting it done off the field, on making sure that your individual skills are up to par. You're not only going to play points on Sunday, get 1 case, play somewhere between 3 and 5 points, and then call it a day. That's just not going to cut it.
Yeah, like paintball's fun. Like the get together of it. Like I definitely would never knock a group of guys getting together and just enjoying their presence, with each other. Just getting away from their work and their wives or stuff like that. So I get it, but just it's not that hard to understand how to go to the next level. It's just whether it's in you or not.
Right. 100%. So this next question is brought to us by Mariachi Águilas de Oro. So over the last few years, you've been one of the faces, if not the face, of the Killers organization, which made waves in the NXL, in Division 2, and in semi-pro. So what all was your involvement and your role? What all did that look like with the organization?
I just handle a lot of like the back end logistics, just kind of getting our practices organized and making sure we had entry paid on time, and making sure we had rental car and stuff, and a place to stay when we got to the events, and our practice slots. I just kind of handled all the back end stuff. That's people got to do. Yeah, I mean, I suggested us picking up some players, but it was always a team decision, So I, try to be a good leader and lead by example. So basically, I just was a guy that was there every weekend, and tried to hold people accountable if they weren't there every weekend. And if a guy needed help getting to the field every weekend, I did whatever I could to get him there.
For sure. All right. So this next question is brought to us by Paintball Comité. So it's been, since you got back into the game, it's been a fast road for you, and you only took you 4 years until you got your first shot at pro when you guested with the ML Kings at the Sacramento Minor. So what did the overall path look like for you, and what do you think you did to get, like, week in and week out? What do you think the steps that you took got you noticed enough to earn you that first shot at pro?
Man, honestly, just being an aggressive player pays. Just going up the field and looking for kills. That's what's going to get you noticed. I mean, it's hard to go take a spot or get an opportunity on a higher division team being a back guy, because those guys have been doing it on that team. They know their system. They know their codes. They know they just know it. So you really can't knock a guy that's just taking as much ground as he can off the break and just trying to go up the field and get kills. So just me doing that every weekend, just running snake, going to their side, bunkering a guy, getting a kill out of the field, in the middle of the field. And Kyle Berry, him and I have been good buddies since I got to meet him, in the ML Kings. They, they were playing out of our field and stuff, and they were playing against us, and we couldn't make it to that minor. We didn't have the time, or it was just like it was too close to Chicago, so it was out in Cali. And I don't know. Kyle asked me if I wanted to go, and yeah, because they were low on bodies actually too, so they only had like 6 guys at the time. So I was like, yeah, I'll go. And I saw they had Dynasty on their schedule, so I was like, yeah, why not? I'll go play Dynasty. And I went out there, played pretty well. Had some good points against Seattle Thunder, I think that they were going by at the time, or whatever. It was like those guys. That's why I had it. We played DMG. I played a few points. We got the win against DMG. We played level. They beat us like by 2 points. Played like a point or two in that, and then against I guess it was Thunder. I don't know. It was Corey Field, the Brooklyn Bears guys. I don't remember what they were going by at the time, but yeah, I played pretty well in that match. And then we played Dynasty the last match. So I got the start against Dynasty by the end of the tournament. I was like, wow, that was cool. And we were trying to play like a margin game so we can make Sunday because there's only like 13 teams there. And just bit us in the butt. And yeah, Dynasty outsmarted us and outgunned us and did what Dynasty does. And yeah, that was pretty special. So I think just me being an aggressive guy, even when I went out there and played on the pro field, I just did what I do. I just tried to take as much ground safely off the break, and then try to get to the 50 ASAP and wrap and go and look inside and hunt for kills and go trade with my guy in front of me if I got to. So basically, yeah, just be aggressive, and I think that will teach you a lot about playing tight spots with a lot of pressure on you. Get your composure up, get your gun skills. You can pop up. Pop up and you see a guy and you miss your first ball, and then he hides from you and then calls you out. That's going to piss you off. So the more you go through those moments, you'll learn, and then people will take notice because, like I said, it's hard not to notice the guy getting up in people's grill every game.
All right, you heard it here first. If you're trying to get noticed, go play aggressive and do it often, and eventually you're gonna either just be seen as the guy that's always out there, or you're gonna have success against someone who's somebody. Let me check here in the chat. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, M in the chat here. M Lemus says, "Tell him, coach."
As Marco, yeah, he's a buddy of mine that I got. He played paintball like back in the day with me too, and then he saw me playing again like recently in the past 3 or 4 years, and he kept, showing me old pictures of him playing back in the day. And I'm like, bro, I was like, you look like you're in better shape now than then. Like, come on, what's stopping you? So now he's one of the captains for the D4 shenanigans line. So it's cool, man. I love bringing people back into the sport. I mean, it's just so much fun. I mean, I don't know. I love it. So I have extra gear. Usually I'll buy my buddies paint if they want to come out for their first time, and I do whatever I can to get people hooked. But usually if I have to call them a bunch, like 2 or 3 times in that morning, they make them want to go, then it's too late.
Right.
If they text me the night before, hey, I want to go play with you tomorrow, I say, okay, I'll see you at 8 a.m.
All right, love it. Yeah. And then Mr. Almighty in the chat, they're asking you, I guess, you do a lot of traveling, so they're asking, in your experience, what is the best travel bag for paintball?
The Eclipse gear bag for sure. It used to be the Eclipse 2-story one that had like a level. That was my gear bag this time last year, but my gear bag got stolen out of my truck last year. So I haven't been able to find that one again, honestly. Like, I've been hunting Facebook, hunting eBay. My local shop doesn't have them, but yeah, I use the generic Eclipse travel bag now with the kind of the slim top part where you can put your cleats in your pod pack, and then the rest of it I kind of squeeze in as much as I'm usually right at 50 pounds. I'm at like 48, 49 every time I go with my gear in clean clothes and all that, and then usually right when I'm coming home, it's pretty much at 50, 52 because of all my gear sweaty and sitting with dirt in it. So I try to do the old foot trick and try to make that that scale, say 48, 49 for a second or a quick second while they while the lady looks at it, so I don't get hit with the overcharge fee. But a couple of times I've had to take my penny bag with all my sweaty gear in it and check that separately. So because on Southwest you get 2 free bags, so it's better than paying $100 for a bag. So yeah, Eclipse gear bag all day. I know the infamous one seems like it's doing pretty well.
Yep, for sure. And yeah, anybody if you're a paintballer, you should fly Southwest. Those 2 free bags is definitely huge.
Yeah, I'll fly whatever though. Honestly, I'll fly Frontier, Spirit. I'll take anything to just get to a paintball tournament. Just get me there.
Sure. All right. So so last year you also played the full NXL Europe season under the Austin FSU banner while also competing in the US and semi-pro with the Killers. So tell us about how did that last season go for you?
Man, that was special. Being coached by Ryan Gray, getting to play alongside Marky Franz, White Smoke, getting to play with Renee Rodriguez, getting to play with Diego Santos, travel around with those guys. I don't know, man. It was cool to go play in a new system too, because I've been playing with the Killers for so long that the only like kind of bunker codes and all that language I had in my head was that. So it felt good to kind of go plug and play into a new system and be able to like do it at the same time as playing with the Killers. So I was able to, really challenge my mind to remember who I was playing with and use certain codes that meant the same things as we were saying if I was with the Killers or if I was there. So that was just awesome getting to travel for paintball overseas. I made quite a few friends over there, made some fans. So that was an experience I'll never forget. The head ref, Turk, he followed me around the world last year. He was on my butt. He was the head ref for semi-pro and the head ref for Europe Pro. So basically, him and I went on a little world tour together, and he was on my. He seemed to keep an eye on me a little extra, but it's okay. I understand. You got to follow the action.
Love it. Yeah. In the chat there, we got one from Castro City Shooty Ball says, "I want to go play with you tomorrow, Hosky."
Tomorrow, Thursday. I mean, he's a barber, so I mean, he's kind of got that schedule like that where we can go ball whenever. I like that. Yeah, no, I usually play on Wednesdays at Tiki's. I haven't been in like a month or so, but Carslev just started doing the classes again. So Wednesdays is where it's at Tiki's at 4:00. Pull up, and then honestly, Saturday, Sunday, where I'll be. Legacy.
For sure. All right. So yeah, this next question is brought to us by FU Athletics. So go to thefuathletics.com, use code inthepits25.
That's a funny name.
It's one of my teammates, Thomas Fust. He just kind of based it off his last name, but he does some pretty cool athletic wear. I
hope the logo is a middle finger.
Well, we can probably make that happen.
I mean, come on, that's good stuff.
So, throughout your entire career, do you have a single favorite moment so far?
Yeah, winning Las Vegas, the Las Vegas event, 2020, with the Killers. I mean, winning a national event, that's it. That's the moment. And then obviously winning it with your boys. Winning it in Las Vegas was tight. Playing every point in the finals, just yeah, it had to be. I mean, I remember coming home from that, just being like, all right, well, I think I am a paintball player. I think I am committed to this journey, and here we are playing for X Factor now. I mean, it's still kind of in a daze. Hopefully I just don't wake up. I'm in a dream.
It's I mean, everything that you've gotten, you've definitely earned. So I think you got to give yourself a little bit more credit there with thinking that it was like just some some wish that was granted for you to get this. It's definitely a hard journey.
I mean, I've wished for off the field stuff to work out as much as it has. Just being able to work with my dad and having him. My dad's a general contractor, and having him kind of understand, because him and I race go-karts together.
Mm.
That's my other hobby that I do kind of at a high level, but paintball's number one. So my dad does that actually pretty much every weekend. So he understands the adrenaline junkie lifestyle we got. So he understands when I take some time off work to go to Europe for paintball, go to these weekends, and just kind of been blessed by having a lot of people in my corner, a lot of good friends that just support me with whatever I do in life. And yeah, there's definitely been a lot of hard work, but I've been around some great talent. Luckily, a lot of the damage guys, a lot of Kyle Berry, a lot of him and I just shooting the shit on the couch, just watching old school paintball videos, and me picking his brain, and just having guys at the field every weekend that can shoot me, that are good, and me shoot back at them. And it's been a good journey. And then Todd Adamson was the icing on the cake, having him support us last year as our coach, and then inviting me to go play with Aftershock, which had me get to play with Meter, and me getting to play with Meter, we became buddies. And then Meter kind of, I guess, he didn't get me on X Factor, but he vouched, that I played with him. He's good. He should get a fair shot. So, and then Ryan Brand and I kind of got to know each other a little bit at the ICPLs, and we talked a little bit at the events. Not about winning X Factor, but just I respect his brain. He was noticed I was kind of making waves in the scene. So Mark Franz allowing me to go to Europe was epic. That worked out perfect, and Diego Santos sponsoring it was epic. So there's been a lot of hard work, but a lot of just people that love paintball as much as you and I do that have been associated with my journey.
Sure. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people out there that do a lot of things for a lot of people in the game. Yeah, shout out. I also want to shout out some of those people, like Ryan Brand. I work for his company project and have been for just over 7 months now, and it's been great to be able to work within that within the industry now, and also just getting more involved with San Antonio X Factor this past year. Also other teams doing like practice footage for them, like Houston Heat, Dynasty, Columbus Level. I've been cool to just see how many people out there just really care for the game and do what they can to help support it.
Yeah, man. Shout out Alex Martinez. He is a true paintball ambassador, patron, just class act, and it's an honor to get to play for him.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, the godfather of Texas paintball himself. Definitely. There's a lot of things that wouldn't have happened without him.
Facts. Yeah, I think he set the tempo from day one on what Texas paintball is about in regards to promoting the brand and building a franchise, opening a local field for people to go see a pro team play at. Yeah, it starts there. It starts with someone having a vision. So much respect.
Sure. Yep. Another question here in the chat, also from Castro. He says, here's a real question. So how expensive does it get traveling for paintball?
Yeah, so every national event other than World Cup for us Florida ballers, you're looking to spend at least $1,200. Entry is going to, obviously you can stack your team with 12 guys. You can do that, and that will make it as cheap as possible in regards to splitting up the entry, splitting up the paint bill, splitting the rental cars. But playing time is going to be an issue with some guys, and just not going to add up. So the money squad is to go with 7 or 8 and maybe 10 at most. But you go with 8, yeah, you're going to spend about, right now the NXO entry is around $3,000. So you're going to be about 350, 400 a person on entry. And then you're going to practice, you're going to shoot quite a few cases of paint. If you do well, maybe you get that GI program where they pay for your paint. If you got the Imperial program, so that's the dream. Go win an event, get your paint paid for. But if you just make Sunday and you get like third place or fourth place, that's a lot. That's 7 X ball matches normally. That's gonna be around 60 cases, 70 cases. You got your food, you got the flight, you got the rental cars, you got the hotel, you got the miscellaneous bills that come up, and then you got to prepare for the tournament so you don't go out there and get shit on. So, yeah, honestly, it's about $1,500 to almost $2,000 to get ready for a tournament. To get ready for a tournament and go play a tournament and come home in one piece, a person.
Yeah, and that's
So
not
if
that's
you're
not even
if you're a
including
sponsor, yeah,
some other things, like if you have like a coaching fees, or if you're getting a
yeah,
coach
yeah.
to come in.
If
And
you want to
so,
get media, like my cameraman, he wasn't cheap, and he's getting our because we had footage. He had footage ready for us after every day of prelims for us to go back to our hotel and watch or
wow.
Airbnb. So that was pretty epic. And then if you want to do some pictures, yeah, it's gonna be $250, $300. So yeah, I don't know. You better start selling some merch or something. But it's it's not cheap. It's a sport that costs money. So shout out to all the sponsors. Not the. I mean, obviously, shout out the sponsors of the pro teams, but there's not many divisional teams that get really a lot of love from unless you own a field. If you own a field and you're building a divisional team, that's probably your best bet to sell a bunch of paint for a company, and they'll show love when you get to the event. But yeah, shout out to every guy or girl that puts up money to support us going to a place in the middle of nowhere in the country and shooting a bunch of paint at each other.
For sure. Definitely gets expensive, especially if you're doing the full NXL series.
Yeah, it's about $10,000. It's about $10,000 to go do a season per person.
I can't imagine how much it was for you to go do Europe on top of that.
Yeah, luckily I had a lot of stuff taken care of, thanks to Diego. And yeah, it was still expensive when I was out, and because I'm out there really not working. So luckily I had some money I had some saved up money to survive while I was out there. But my dad definitely spotted me a couple times to be like, "Hey," I stayed a little extra a couple times with
Right.
Diego. So went out there for 2 weeks for paintball, or a week and a half for paintball, and then stayed an extra week for life. So yeah, it gets expensive, but it's life, man. You can't take this money with you. I understand you got to be able to pay your bills and make sure you don't get evicted, and make sure you got food and stuff. But can't take it with you, so live it up.
True.
Spend it on what you love.
Get down with that. Yep. So this next question is brought to us by 71 Designs. So you were announced earlier this year in a blockbuster move by San Antonio X Factor as one of several pickups for this season, in a package that included you, Axel Godin, and Tim Stetzel, on top of already picking up Matt Jackson. So how do you think you were able to get on the radar of a top level team while having not all that much pro experience?
Well, playing every event available. Like I went out, I played the WC with KC All Stars. I did really well out there. I think so like Marcelo and Goldman were out there coaching, so they took notice. But luckily at my field, Legacy, I get to play against Tampa Bay Damage. So playing against Tampa Bay Damage every weekend, that was probably my in, was just getting known and getting respected by those guys. And those guys talk to other guys from other teams. Other teams come to town to play Damage against them. They play Damage, and then Damage would include us in like a 3 or 4 team rotation. So I think I got noticed, like I said earlier, going up the field, being aggressive, shooting guys that are really good. Those guys they don't like getting shot. They're like, "Who the fuck is shooting me?" And I'm like, "It's me." And they're like, "Okay." So just stacking kills against better players is, you're going to get noticed. I mean, I notice anytime someone, even when I go play random points on the weekend, if a guy shoots me, I kind of like, okay, white mask, red hopper. All right, I got my eye on you next time.
Yep, and it only takes a handful of saying, white mask, red hopper again. And it's, eventually they'll be
Yeah.
watching
Hey,
out for you as soon as you walk on the
hey,
box.
can we put an extra gun on that guy?
Yeah.
He's coming.
Oh, there's definitely a lot of those conversations on the box, and for anybody who's been playing long enough, it's like you have that one guy that you recognize once they step on the field. It's like, oh, it's the white mask guy, or it's the this guy with the purple pants. We got to put an extra gun on him, or watch out, he's gonna be in the middle.
Yeah, I've learned in paintball. I actually learned this in skateboarding. Don't judge a book by its cover, because like there are some people out there that just they may look a little goofy, but that don't mean their paint don't fly at 300 feet per second.
For sure. Yep. All right. Yeah. In the chat, a lot more people coming in. Let's see. Ryland here in the chat saying X Factor going to be fun to watch this year. And Mr. Almighty asked another question. Asks, favorite gun. What has been your favorite marker to play with? They're as sponsored and unsponsored.
No matter what, sponsored, unsponsored, I'll pay double. But the CS2 was my favorite gun. The CS3 is a little more. The frame to me is. I have bigger hands, so I think the frame, the back, like the grip fits my hand a little better. But the CS2, when I bought that, like right when I got back into paintball, I bought an Ego 11 Ollie Lang edition at my local shop. I had a Lux 2.0 as well that a buddy sold me. I enjoyed those. I mean, when I won Vegas, we used the Lux X, so I enjoyed that. But I used the Lux in Europe. It was cool, but CS3 all day. Now CS2 was fire. Honestly, I enjoyed that the most. But I got my gear bag. I had no plans to get a CS3, and then my gear bag got stolen. And when I went to my shop, and they took care of me. I bought a CS3 because I was like, why not get the newest thing? And then CS3 has been shooting money ever since. And that's the thing. Going to X Factor and being able to shoot Planet, and then still get to wear my JTs. I mean, ain't nothing changed. That's my favorite combo right there. My favorite pair of pants, though, I got to say, are Kinetics. It's a little shout out to Kinetic. Rob Moore, he's been taking care of us on the Killers for quite a bit. My cameraman was adamant on me wearing Kinetics from like the moment I met him. But I was like, yeah, all right, whatever, buddy. You're a cameraman. And then I finally wore a pair, and I was like, damn, yeah, these are fire. So then I ended up getting a team pair a pair of pants for the team, and we got the Killers embroidery on them. And I play paintball every weekend, and those pants never rip on me. So maybe we get X Factor wearing them one day, but I understand we're JT, so we're rocking the JTs right now. Mine are holding up good. I haven't ripped them yet. I've been wearing them every weekend. So
For sure. Yeah, I know on my across the 2 CS2s that I've owned, I had a black one, put 100 in. I bought it new and put like 160K shots on it or something, and then sold it to get a X Factor edition CS2. Got that one when it had like my 6K shots on it, and it's now over 200,000. And so CS2 is definitely I feel like it's underappreciated as far as markers go. Like, it has a really low resale value. I don't know if it's just because there's so many of them out there, but it was definitely a great marker for its time.
I think they still float around 750, 800. I think a CS2 below 700 is a steal.
Definitely.
For whatever reason, it seems like I wasn't playing during this time, but I see a lot of kids rock the Geo 3.5.
Yeah, I mean that's just nostalgia at this point, I think.
Was that one the shit for like a good little bit?
Oh yeah. When the IV core bolt system first came in, definitely had a lot of people.
Yeah, because Planet was always open bolt.
I mean, for the Geos, they had like for their closed bolts, like with the Geo platform. The 3.5.
When did that come out?
The
first Geo?
The first Geo, oh gosh, like probably 2011.
Right. So right after the Ego 11. Got it. Okay.
Something like that. But the new bolt system came out with a 3.5, which is why it was so popular for such a long time, and why like the CS1 had the same IV core, CS R 1.5, Geo 4.
Yeah, I still have like a lot of random like guys that I just like will hear like randomly will just say that they'll like call CS a Geo. They're just like when they're just like talking really quick because they just like I think just the idea of a closed bolt playing Eclipse gun will just forever be called a Geo. Just even though they're called CSs now, it's just I guess it seems like that was a pretty historic moment for Planet.
Definitely. I mean, I've been rocking the Project G CS3 and put quite a lot of shots into it. It just shoots fantastic. So no complaints there from me shooting a CS3 and upgrading.
Yeah, so definitely Planet. That's I know that was the question was what's my favorite. I still got my Lux that I won Vegas with. I will never get rid of it just because I won my first national event with it. So anytime a friend of mine wants to like whenever I go to like a scenario thing called Wayne's World, I usually bring all my gear and I got like 3 or 4 extra guns that I let all my friends play with that aren't paintballers.
Gotcha. All right, yeah. So this next question is brought to us by Hydra. So now that you're with X Factor, will the Killers organization continue to exist?
For now, no. I don't think so. I think some of the guys have already made their decisions to go elsewhere. Cole Vanthoff is going to go to Dynamic Semi-Pro. He was trying to get on the ML Kings, but the roster kind of filled up a little quick. So he's going to go play with Dynamic. Cody Clarkson is going to go play on D2 Shenanigans, kind of the team, our farm team that we've kind of built up. So maybe those guys on Shenanigans could have a hell of a year and maybe come into semi-pro next year as the Killers. That'd be dope. Smitty, I don't know what he's doing. I just know he plays one-on-ones nonstop. So I don't know if it even bothers him that he doesn't have to go play 5-on-5. Cody Lembo has the talent to be on any pro team in the world, but I just know he's been trying to figure out some stuff off the field first before he commits all the way into paintball. So Cody Lembo should end up on a team, I'm sure, by Vegas. If not, I might see if he wants to come to Europe or something. I might. I'm thinking about playing with the Bad Boys in Europe this year. Team out of Netherlands.
Okay.
Because they shoot Planet. They're good. They're a good team. I got to know them quite a bit because we went to Netherlands and practiced at their field the weekend before the event, first event of Europe last year. And yeah, they're pretty good. They shoot Planet, and they said it's cool with me to wear my X Factor jersey, and they'll take care of some stuff for me to go play. So I'd like to go play in Portugal the first event because it's somewhere new and different. But the other 2 events, we'll see. But yeah, the Killers. There's no need to force it right now if we don't have our core group of guys, at the helm of it. But the Shenanigans D2 line definitely has the potential to earn the right to go play as the Killers in semi-pro. I don't think the Killers name will ever be a team below semi-pro though. So if it ever does get revived, it will always be a semi-pro team with the ambition to go pro.
Gotcha. All right. Here in the chat, we got Casey Harris, the coach of Paintball Fit. He's asking, are you excited about your bracket draw in Vegas?
Yeah, that's a good little draw right there. We got Diesel, we got the Russians, we got Blast Camp, and we got Dynasty. I mean, you see I got the Russian jersey right here. Those are my buddies now, but that's a jersey from the 9-second point they had against Impact, and they released that special edition jersey where they came back on Impact and scored that 9-second point in NXL Texas, and then they won, I think, in overtime. And those guys have always been idols to me. I had an opportunity to go play for them last year, but I wanted to stay with the Killers, and then I had another opportunity to go play with them this year, but there's a lot of moving parts with that franchise organization. So playing against them will be tough. But yeah, I'm excited to play against Ryan Gray. You know, he knows me quite a bit. This past weekend and at Fit, he was pretty much making sure Renee had a radar on me the whole point every time we played. So I'd put in 2 guys to get into the snake, and Renee was waiting for me in the middle.
Oh man.
So obviously going to play Dynasty. I'd like to get a redemption match against them. Just an honor to get to play against them. And like I said, I'm still living in that dream of like watching ESPN and just pretty magical. And then Blast Camp, those are the boys. I respect those guys much. Like those guys play paintball every weekend, twice a weekend, and they definitely deserve to be in pro. So they got the toughest draw by far as a welcoming to the pro. So.
Oh yeah. Yep, and I mean your welcome to pro is definitely hey, you got to hit the ground running, otherwise it's gonna be a little rough for you. But yeah, that's probably the toughest bracket that I've seen, period, in the last couple of years.
On paper, you know, but other than Dynasty, like Diesel and Russians didn't have a good year. So they're both hungry and gritty, and they have the talent and they have all the tools to be great and to go win a tournament. But yeah, I mean, X Factor. I mean, come on, you see that roster we got. I mean, I know no team wants to play us right now. I mean, for real, like we got a real deal squad.
Definitely. Yep. So another person in the chat, Chris Harrison, asks, what's one piece of advice you would give the youth players coming up to help them turn pro in their futures?
Just depends how young, because like I think like all the kids that I know, like Warren Barker and Max Stansel and Eric Costin. I was gonna say Eric Costin, the skater, but no, Costin. I forgot what his last name is. And Eli, Robert, like his mom Julie. Like you need your parents to believe in it, because like they're like all like 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, 16 years old. So like at that age, like just don't piss off your parents and like get your parents to do whatever like your parents need you to do for them to support your dream at that age. And then once you turn 18 and you want to go to college and you know, kind of decide, you got to make that choice. Like I didn't play paintball in college. I don't think I could have. Honestly, I went to school in Gainesville, and it's pretty rowdy atmosphere. So I think it's tough to go to college and at least a party college at least, and be a committed paintball player on the weekends, because all the best parties are on the weekends. So yeah, if you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and you're already really good, like if you're already a really good player at 18 and you're actually like making headway in the scene, then I think keep going, and just partying is, you know, something that can be around forever, and you don't need to do that at that age. But I'm not going to knock you if you do go enjoy that time in life, because you know you don't get it back. So from like 10 years old to 18, kiss ass to your parents. Make sure they you know, will help you out and get you to the field. And then once you get your license at 16, I guess you can get there on your own, but you know, it gets expensive to grind. And then up in your early 20s, like 24, 25. I mean, you know, look at Connor Kelly. Connor Kelly's 21 now, and he's about to have a kid. So it's like life will hit you fast, but I think he's got his life built around paintball. So it's like he's got a good support system with Randy, Sarge, helping him out. So I know his baby will definitely be well fed, and there'll be plenty of diapers. So if you can time out your journey that way, you know, like go end up on a top 5 pro team in the world that's well funded, and then start your real life at that age as a youth, then more power to you. But it's tough. There's no easy way. I mean, God will test you in many different ways to decide if you really want this paintball journey. So pay attention to the signs, and if you love it, you'll find a way.
Definitely. I can tell you that Chris Harrison is the father of 2 kids that are in paintball right now. Cooper Harrison, who's I'm sure you've seen on Instagram, the kid with the mohawk that plays up at Paintball Fit. He is I think he's 12 years old, I want to say. And then
does he play with Jeremy Zimmerman's kid?
I don't know if Jeremy Zimmerman's kid plays what team,
Jeremy Zimmerman
but
coach
yeah,
that team?
yes,
Like that?
yeah, they're all up in the same area, up at Paintball Fit.
Yeah, I see. I kind of see all them running around. So I'm like, yeah, the youth. There's a kid named Parks Stansel, who's Max Stansel's little brother. He's 10, 11 years old, and he's living the paintball dream. His dad, Tyler Stansel, they got a paintball field in their front yard.
I love it. Yeah. Well, I know that both him and Cooper's little sister both play. Little sister plays on an all girls team called the Dallas Dolls that Dallas 5 is kind of taken under their wing. But cool. I know both mom and dad are listening on the show, and I'm sure they appreciate the response. So yeah.
Yeah, my bad for not keeping it PG.
No, I think they love, like, hey, you got to listen to your parents. You got to do what they tell you. Otherwise, you're not long in this game.
Yeah, like I said, you need a good foundation. It helps. It helps having people. I mean, not everyone's gonna understand paintball. Like most parents, like my parents have only been to the paintball field maybe 5 times. They've came to a couple of tournaments in Orlando for a day. They get it. I mean, but they just see me going every weekend. So it's like anything you do every weekend, your parents will respect. Like as long as it's not going to the bars and getting in trouble. Like no parents are gonna respect that. But yeah, if you show that your parents, I mean, at a young age, I mean that's maturity. Just committing, discipline, just dedication, discipline. Like if you can commit to anything, like go to college and get your degree, like that's a commitment. That you can build off that. College isn't for everybody, but just finding discipline as a youth, as a young kid, young adult, that will translate to life.
For sure. All right, so you've had a few practices now with the X Factor squad, and the first event of the year, I think, is just 5 weeks away at this point. So, what does this year mean to you, and what should we expect out of you and the squad in Vegas?
This year means to me that I belong on the pro field, so now I need to go. I know I belong. Other people know I belong, but you got to go do it. So I got to go out there and let Matty Marshall. Matty Marshall knows me. We're buddies. Rich Telford knows me. So it's like I'm not. Luckily, when I go out there, I'm not like a complete, random. So I got to go out there and just prove it. Because I've had pro offers for the past couple of seasons. So it's just put up or shut up. And then I'm on a team of legends. So you gotta bring your A game every time you step on that field. Every point, every call out, every bump, everything's got to be dialed in. And if not, you're going to hear about it. So that's what I want. I want to be held to that high level, and that's why I joined X Factor, because that's a team that shows up to every tournament with plans to win, and that's what it's about. If you're showing up to these tournaments with the intention of just making Sunday, you already lost. So I believe we're going to win a few events this year. Can't say we're going to win all of them because that's pretty magical, but we'll definitely win 2 or 3. So, and that should lock up the series for us.
I love it. All right, yeah, we'll definitely be rooting for you. So everybody that's in the chat, go ahead and get your questions in now. We're getting toward the end of our show. So this next question is one that I ask everybody that comes on the show. Kind of helps me get the word out and hear about kind of anybody that might be flying under the radar or anybody that's up and coming that's out there. So this question is brought to us by Get Dat Shot. Message him on Facebook or Instagram. That's at GetDat_shot. If you're needing media coverage at the upcoming NXL Vegas event, I know that he is going to be on the pro field this year. So yeah, just hit him up. So
Ryan, is there anybody in paintball, either teams, players, brands, or projects that have caught your attention lately? Who do you think deserves more recognition for what they're doing?
Well, there's definitely a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of talent. A lot of those kids you're seeing on the USA team. I mean, I know who they are, like Colton Dahl. That kid's a baller. He's all in. Uh, there's a few players over here in Florida. Like I said earlier, Warren Barker, Max Stansel, Eli Roberts, and Costin. There's some good kids on the rising the ranks, putting in the work. Semi-pro wise, my favorite player right now in semi-pro is Frankie Pajuda. He's on Leverage. He was the one that actually won he won his one-on-one Hormesis battle out in New York, but he couldn't make it because he had work to the final. So Caputo got the spot. But Frankie Pajuda is a straight baller. I mean, I was trying to get him on the Killers last year, but just couldn't work out. I respect he's got the Leverage thing, just like playing with your boys, nothing like it. So he'll be on the pro field soon. If not, Leverage will be with him. Brand wise, Kinetic, no doubt. Those guys, they got the best pants in the game. I haven't really used the pack yet, but I'm sure for the pack's fire. Media wise, I mean, much respect to like you, much respect to Isaac, much respect to like Carl Markowski when he was doing his podcast quite a bit. Honestly, I listened to Markowski's podcast the most when I first got back into the sport. Just seemed like it popped up on my Apple podcast pretty quick when I typed in paintball. Shout out to like Jackson Frey and Ronnie and those guys doing the vlog stuff, and then Verbal. I'm sure he'll be getting a bunch of clips of me out in Texas. Christian Rivera, media. Sam Bennett, all in media out of Tampa, Orlando area. Those guys are always at the field. It's just, I don't know. I mean, there's so many people doing the right thing right now in paintball. Kyle Berry doing his best to lead the Kings up. He deserves a lot because he does a lot of behind the scenes work, trying to work with the ML kids, and now it's the shop kids. So paintball patrons, I like to say. The Russian guys, I mean, Karslev, Kirill, when they were at Karslev's in town right now, but Kirill and Karslev were living here for like the past year. So they did a lot of weekday stuff at Tiki's. Jason Edwards is the man getting our field legacy back to prime paintball environment. In regards to air stations working, paint being good, field looking good, nets being no holes in the net, bunkers being new. Tom Fox also running the show over there. There's just like a lot of people that I touch base with quite a bit. And then shout out, just kind of the whole media world. I mean, Moffitt, he's the homie. There's a bunch of I can only think of so many right now, but I love where paintball is right now. Marcelo and Tyler play the game. Obviously, listen to that every week, every time they drop it. So, just paintball's in a good spot.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of people that care and that are outputting and trying to grow it through their efforts. And speaking of Verbal, he actually asked a question here in the chat. He said, favorite food and favorite place to eat it.
He knows I'm a foodie. Verbal pays attention. Favorite food? Oh, wow. I don't think there's a legal answer to that, man. That's tough. I think win in Rome. So when I'm in France, I'm gonna eat escargot, and I'm gonna try to go eat that right by the Eiffel Tower. When I'm in Tampa, I mean, I love the Cuban food we got out here. So I get a Cuban sandwich over at me and Marco Lemus. We go to West Tampa Sandwich Shop. We'll do that. That's the Cuban sandwich is legendary. And when I'm in Miami, I'll get a Cuban sandwich as well and get some pork and black beans and stuff. Yeah, I'm a big fan of pasta, and there's a few Italian spots I hit. locally in Tampa. But yeah, anytime I'm traveling for paintball, man, I never want to go eat somewhere that I can go eat at anywhere, like a franchise, like a spot that just exists, like a franchise. I'd rather always eat like at a local spot in that town. Like even if it's in the middle of nowhere, I want to go to like the best hole in the wall spot that has been there, mom and pop, cooking their special dish with grandma's recipe. My palate's definitely opened up over the years, and then I've kind of got away from red meat lately. I've been doing just chicken and fish, and still do pork and stuff, but I can still eat a steak and stuff. It doesn't like affect me physically. I went through some injuries a couple years ago, and I kind of got stuck in a rabbit hole about blood cells and eating foods that like allow you to recover. So I try to eat a lot of fruits and just things that I can give me some good protein, give me some good carbs, and then not bloat me up where I can't go be an athlete the next day.
For sure. Well, next time you're in San Antonio, I've got a spot for you.
My friend that lives in Dallas told me about this spot called Two Sisters, something Sisters. Oh, I forget, but she's been adamant on. I think it's an Asian spot, but yeah. I mean, anytime in Texas, I got some good barbecue with Meter this past weekend. So we got some good sushi as well. So yeah, let me know. I'll be in San Antonio, so always trying to grub. I got a little food blog called on Instagram called Top Shelf Grub.
Ooh, like it.
I try to document. Yeah, I try to make sure the phone eats first.
Awesome. All right. So Brian, there's your answer. Yeah, he says he'll go eat with you sometime. I guess next time you're in his area.
Yeah, Stretch, the media guy, Stretch 1904. Yeah, he's a big foodie as well. So anytime we're at an event, we'll try to go squeeze in a good little foodie snack.
Sweet. All right. Well, looking forward to it. So, Ryan, we are here at the end of our show. This final question is brought to us by Compete, which is Jell Stewart's brand. Message him on Facebook or Instagram. Mention In the Pits for 10% off of your order of soft goods. So, Ryan, thank you so much for your time. Do you have any last shout outs or things you'd like to say before we sign off?
Yeah, shout out X Factor. Shout out Ryan Brand for giving me this opportunity. Shout out Alex Martinez for taking care of all of us and making sure we got everything we need to be top level athletes. Shout out X Factor Paintball Park. The place is dope. Shout out Tiki's and over here in Tampa. Shout out Legacy Sports Park. That's where, if you're gonna grind in Florida, that's where it's at. Shout out to Planet Eclipse. Shout out to Pro DNA. Travis Lemansky hooking us up. Shout out to JT. Best mask. Even though I only wear the old school mask. Everybody wears the new ones, but I'm all about collecting the old OG rubber. And GI, best paint in the world. If you want to win, I guess. If you don't want to win and you want to save some money, I get it. To HK, no. HK got the best speed feed in the game. I'll give him that. I'm just using the speed feed on the Spire, the metal with the metal teeth.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give him that. They got the best speed feed right now in the game. Shout out Virtue, Spire, best hopper, no doubt. And then shout out to you, Christian, having me on here. Shout out God, blessing me every day, allowing me just to wake up.
Absolutely. Yep. We appreciate the shout outs, and yeah, there's definitely a lot of great people out there helping support us. And I want to give a quick shout out to my sponsor and partner tier subscribers that help support this show, which are FE Athletics, Get Dat Shot, Paintball Kumite, Compete, Bam Raps, Skull Monkeys Paintball, Hydra, XCPL Events, Mariachi Águilas de Oro, Pod Runners Union, 71 Designs, and our newest sponsor, Bioworks. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to go follow Ryan at Young Hosky on Instagram. And then could you say one more time, what was your food food Instagram page?
Well, I'm trying to get the Hosky tag.
Mhm.
That's it. There's a few steps you got to work on behind the scenes to get it. This girl I went to get it when I was in high school in like 2011 or 2010, but she beat me to it, and she hasn't posted since. So I'm trying to get just the Hosky tag. We'll get it, I think, soon. Now that I'm a professional athlete.
Mhm.
But yeah, Young Hosky, YUNGHOSKI. And then my food Instagram, Top Shelf Grub altogether.
All right, yeah, Top Shelf Grub. So go follow Young Hosky, go follow Top Shelf Grub on Instagram, and what other guests would you all like to see on the show? Be sure to leave a comment down below. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button. The show goes live weekly here on youtube.com/@inthepitspaintballpodcast, and recordings are posted to YouTube, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify the next day. Although I will say there is no episode next week. That's right, we're ending the streak at 86 weeks in a row.
We're at the finish line, as they say.
Well,
Nah.
don't worry.
There'll be another race.
Oh yeah, the show's not going to be going away or anything. Just next week we're gonna be taking some time off.
You deserve it. You deserve it, bud.
I appreciate that. Yeah, there's a lot going on next week. I got obviously Valentine's Day next Wednesday, so I'm smart enough to know that I'm not scheduling an episode for that night. And also got my dad's birthday, my birthday, finals week for me. So just a lot going on. So plus, and we will see you in 2 weeks where we're going to have one of the biggest episodes we've ever had. We're going to have a roundtable with fellow podcasters. And so we're going to have guests such as Ryan Greenspan, Ryan Moffat, Ryan Gray, Tyler Harmon, Zizek Barrow, and Robert Jordan. So it's going to be an absolutely banger of a cast list for 2 weeks from now. So we will see you all then. Ryan, thank you so much.
Appreciate you, bro.